My friend Esther said it's just like grandmother's cooking. And if this is anything like grandmother's cooking in Korea, I need to like go back and find another grandmother or something.
Hi, I'm Melissah Yang here at Borit Gogae in Koreatown, Los Angeles, and this is Fam Style with Kristen Kish. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
These are Panchans,
Yes.
which are side dishes.
For the people that don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think people tend to think that Panchans are just sort of like side dishes that you just get for free at Korean barbecue. But in reality, like, this is what a home-cooked Korean meal is.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous using chopsticks like on camera. I need to chill out.
We're living our best life. Holy crap. This is awesome. What was this?
It's like a doenjang stew.
Okay.
But there's a more potent version of doenjang called changgukjang, which is what that is. So like think like natto. It's almost like that level of like stinky.
Funk?
Yeah. This set, basically you pay per person. They'll bring it out portioned to the number of people that you have. And
So this is for two.
This is for two.
Okay, yeah.
So you have your panchan, you have your bowl, and you kind of just eat however you want, build your own bowl.
I have an affinity for kimchi and always did ever since I was a young kid, even though I didn't grow up with it. There was something in my blood. There's something that remembers the smell, but there's something in me that remembers what it was to be surrounded by people eating it, I'm sure. But when I just tasted this braised cabbage, it tasted exactly like sour cabbage leaves, which is what my Hungarian-German grandmother would make her cabbage rolls out of. And so it's always fun to find that bridging gap of different cultures and different cuisines and different even points in my life. Being able to create food for people and my guests at the restaurant is always just finding that one little thing. Spices transcend all over the, obviously the spice trade across the world, which is, it's really fun when something like that happens.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what it was like growing up in the Midwest? Because your upbringing isn't, I don't want to say typical, but it's definitely certainly unique.
So I was adopted when I was 4 months old. So I flew from Korea to Detroit, Michigan, and then was driven across the state to the city that I was brought up in. Like, I always knew that I was adopted. There are so many knowns for me, but none of it ever felt so different that I felt uncomfortable. I think it was probably because my school was incredibly multicultural and incredibly diverse. There were other Korean adoptees that lived nearby that I was friends with. I don't think it was until much later on in my life, quite frankly, when I started grappling with my identity as queer, that's when things started to feel a little bit more uncomfortable. I never felt uncomfortable about being Asian. I felt more uncomfortable about being gay. I was a Korean kid, I was adopted, this was my family.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel odd at all. Phenomenal. Thank you. I ate a lot of different things in Korea. But when we went into the market, this was one of the first stops that we made.
Wait, so tell me a little bit more about this trip to Korea, because I know we were talking a little bit before. You said it's kind of like a mixed sort of experience.
I was in the middle of doing press for 2 shows. Right in between those 2 trips, another show that I was working on asked me if I would go to do this collaboration with Netflix Korea and Netflix America. I was so scared to go to Korea for work for the first time because I thought I had to go and really immerse myself and do this whole personal journey. And something kept nagging at me. The last time I had been to Korea was when I was born there, when I was 4 months old. And what that trip did for me is it was a little bit complicated when I first got there because I thought I was supposed to feel all these things. I thought I was supposed to feel like this wave of emotion of, oh my God, I'm home. I thought I was supposed to look out into the world of Korean people and feel like I belong.
Like this was a pilgrimage of some sort. Yeah.
But it didn't happen. I felt more like a tourist and a visitor, which I certainly was and am, but I felt guilty for not feeling those feelings. And so it took me a couple days to understand that I can't force myself to feel anything. And by me not feeling anything doesn't mean that I have any less respect for where I come from. I need time to discover it. And there was one moment, we found our way to this hand carving stamp maker, and it was a tiny little shop. And so I got in there and I was like, well, what do I want? It's like, you know what, I'm gonna get my Korean name. But when we were in there, the guy asked me what it was. I kind of gave him the sped up version. I was adopted, 4 months old, it's my first time back, whatever. And I got somewhat emotional and I was feeling self-conscious to tell the story because I didn't want to feel like I was being judged. He said, you belong here. This man that I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
And he was carving my name and he said that. And it was just, that for me was the moment of the trip. I didn't consciously leave it out of the book, but I wanted to protect it for me.
Yeah.
And to tell the story how I wanted to tell the story now, which is on Refinery29 for the very first time.
Thank you for sharing that story. And
No,
like,
just crying over food.
well, I just really appreciate you, feeling safe enough to share that with us. And I think that's beautiful. And I think it really just goes back to what we were talking about of feeling like enough in various different ways, whether it's at your job, in your relationships, with your friends, with your family. And I think when it comes to your identity, the idea of feeling like enough can feel so core because it's who you are, that validation. I can only imagine like what that...
From this older Korean man.
Yeah, I can understand the perspective of sitting between different cultures, different identities. But I feel like the weight of like being among people that look like you, that must be a lot.
It is and it isn't at the same time, because my parents are the only parents that I know. My mom and my dad have those titles because they raised me. They taught me my core values. Like, I even have a hard time saying my biological mother and father because they're not my mother and father. I feel a curiosity of knowing who they are, but I don't feel a hole of not knowing who they are. Because growing up, I'm sure you've heard, oh, you have your mother's eyes or your father's nose or whatever. I never heard that. Yeah, but at least I did hear, like, I have the same values as my mom and my dad, which, obviously are equally, if not more important than what you look like.
Why did you write a memoir? Like, what was the moment right now that made you realize, hey, this is a good time for me to reflect back and write about my life?
For me, the book was all about being able to just tell my story, not to show how unique or different I was. You don't have to be a Korean gay adoptee, a chef who's now hosting television, to relate to my book. Are you someone that knows what it feels like to feel like an outsider, or to feel insecure about where you come from and who you are? These are all universal things that I feel like at some point in our lives we have all felt. I kind of talk about how I took all those different moments of my life and made them work for me along a course of like a lot of happy accidents. And so through all of my accidents in life and all of the missteps and the challenges and the celebrations, I have leaned into finding exactly what that purpose is. Even if it's 10 years later and I look back on my life, then for me that is something that brings me a lot of confidence and assurance that I am on the right path. And I hope that people enjoy it.
All right,
Buy it now. I feel like I need to know more before I start cooking this food for people that are going to pay for it. There's a little bit of a balance with me with fear and intimidation when it comes to Korean food, Korean culture. I made a promise to myself that I was at least going to start trying and putting more effort into it. Best way for me to do that is through food and to have people teach me about my Koreanness through the things that I eat. Maybe one day I'll have a Korean restaurant.
A Korean cookbook?
Korean restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like writing cookbooks.
Let's try the crab. We need to try this. Okay.
I'm a big fan of using
Well, I
the
didn't
gloves.
even see the gloves. Please teach me.
Okay, so typically it's like a Dungeness raw marinated crab. When you marinate something in high acid or salt, it helps preserve it. Yes, it's raw, but it's not raw. We need a moment for it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That, I can communicate like that way.
I'd
She's
be
like, this is delicious, thank you. And then I was like, how much does this cost?
Say
Like,
this is delicious.
맛있어요.
맛있어요.
Soyo.
맛있어요.
Mashi is like
Mashi.
taste,
Mashi?
and the rest is like just,
소요.
Yeah.
소요.
yeah.
맛있어요. 맛있어요.
I don't think she heard you. She didn't hear you. She
Okay,
didn't
I'll
hear
say
you.
it again.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
say it later.
Are there certain foods that you would prefer and you don't eat or you don't like?
I'm not a big salmon person.
Okay.
I really strongly dislike smoked salmon. I strongly dislike lamb. All these foods I will eat
Yeah.
if presented to me on Top Chef, and I can objectively eat them.
Right.
So lamb and salmon are the two big ones, but I do have an allergy to halibut. Like I break out in hives. You have one more piece there.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I have to ask you, Kristen, what eyeliner do you use?
My makeup artist did it. Shout out Melissah, thank you. She uses the Bobbi Brown eyeliner. I can do it, but I can't do it as good as she does.
As I've gotten older, I'm like, do I need to change my makeup?
I think whatever makes you feel the best, that's what you do.
That's kind of where I landed too.
Whatever people say and the trends and things, like, also don't tell me I can't wear an ankle sock. Or heels, or Gen Z, whatever generation that is. I will wear an ankle sock if I want to wear an ankle sock. Oh, this is dessert? Okay, cool. It's
This is
warm.
red bean with corn.
Red bean corn, just maybe like cooked down with sugar.
There's like mochi in here too, I think.
Oh, you commit it. Oh,
No?
do whatever you want. I never commit a full bite. What if it's too sweet?
Huh.
Not too sweet.
Not too
I love it because it's not too sweet.
You're obviously promoting your book. You're obviously promoting Top Chef. What is next for you, though, once all that wraps?
I have my restaurant in Austin, continuing on the book tour, and I have 2 secret things that I can't say yet.
Ooh. Yeah. Can you tease anything about it? Is it something different for you? The same sort of world?
Same, but different.
Okay.
I'm looking at my manager. This was outstanding.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would absolutely come back. I'm gonna practice my Korean. I'm gonna stretch my stomach a little bit more and come back and get exactly what we just had because everything really was just outstanding.
Kristen, thank you so much for eating here with us. Everybody, please make sure to follow and subscribe down here. And yeah, thank you.
You say it's delicious again.
맛있어요.
맛있어요. 감사합니다.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, cut.